Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to episode 2 of Dr. Stone. So we reacted to the first episode back in June as part of a first impressions video, and I actually really surprisingly liked this. I thought it was going to be pretty generic and kind of uninteresting, just from what I knew about the plot. But it actually ended up being pretty good, despite not much happening. We're introduced to our main characters, Oki, I think his name is, and Senku. There's the girl that Oki likes, who is currently still trapped in stone. But, yeah, the entire world gets trapped in stone for 3,700 years, I believe it was. I looked this up the other day to try and remember things to get myself ready. I think it was 3,700, something like that. I remember it was almost 4,000. But yeah, they got trapped for that long. When Senku awakens, he had kept himself sane the entire time by basically counting the days in his head. So he knows exactly how long it's been, to the minute. So during the time he was, during his time out, he started gathering information and supplies and basically started figuring out how to live in this new post-apocalyptic world. Oki awakens 6 months after Senku, finds his crush's body in stone, and then ends up finding Senku, and they start to work together. Oki's not super smart like Senku is, but he's a good dude and he has muscle. So they work together using their strengths, and they eventually figure out, after I don't know how many months it is, they go through multiple seasons. I think maybe even upwards of a year. But they go through all of this time, and they eventually figure out a formula to actually reverse the stone petrification. And that's kind of where the first episode left off. And I was kind of surprised that they got to that kind of thing this early, because that feels like that would be more of an endgame thing. But I guess not. I guess there must be something else that would be the endgame. Maybe finding out why this happened in the first place. So, yeah. It's going to be interesting to see where this goes. Since watching this, obviously, I saw some cosplayers at Youmacon, just at the beginning of the month, and there was a Senku cosplayer, and this is in my cosplay music video, and then there was one character who I don't remember seeing in the first episode, so I guess someone from a future episode/season. They looked like they had some kind of mask helmet thing on. My dad knew who the character was when I showed him my cosplay music video, because my dad watches Dr. Stone. He said the name and I don't remember it. But that's probably a good thing. So he knew who the character was, but I have no clue. I'm definitely interested to see how many more people they end up bringing into their group, like reviving to bring into their group. And what kind of challenges, outside of just the general stuff, await them. It's going to be interesting to delve into this. I don't know what to expect, but I'm excited. I'm actually genuinely excited for this. I think it has like 3 seasons currently. I think the 3rd season either recently ended or is currently going. And the 3rd season, I think, was split into 2 different parts. So, yeah. We're just going to continue this for now and see where this takes us. So, let's get this going. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, this episode focuses on, after having created this concoction to revive a person from the stone, figuring out who to revive. Senku decides he's going to let Oki take the lead and choose someone. And I'm calling him Oki for now. And of course, he knows who Oki's going to choose. He is Riha. So they go to get her, but they end up being confronted by some wild lions, which raises this question because I don't think in the first episode we saw any other animals but the bird. We have the bird that was petrified before the full-scale worldwide petrification of all the people. And then afterwards, they revived a petrified bird using guano and stuff. But why was that bird petrified? Unless that was supposed to be the same bird from before. And in that case, why was that specific bird petrified? And if it wasn't the same bird, again, why that and not all the other animals? But the fact that they use guano also kind of proves that there had to be bats and everything. So it's like, maybe it was the same bird. Maybe again, this has been since June, mind you. That I reacted to this. Was the bird, like, because it showed the backstory when, I believe it was Yuzuriha as well. Yuzuriha and Oki found the bird, the petrified bird. They were questioning whether it was real or not and everything. Did like Oki take the bird with him, and that was the same day that everyone turned to stone, so he just had the bird on him after he was revived? Or it was like, I guess, near him at that point? I don't know. I don't fucking know. Maybe I missed something. Let me see if I can find out. I think I can get that up pretty quickly. Again, I'm not seeing anything that says here one way or the other. It's like in the little episode description here, it doesn't even mention the bird. It just says that they developed the revival fluid made from the bat guano. So yeah, I guess it just doesn't mention it one way or not here. Well, I guess maybe it was just that single bird, but why that bird? Like, was it experimented on? To, like, test to see if this would work? There's a lot of questions that raises for me. Maybe I would have to see the first episode again or something, I don't know. Yeah, so the lions chase them, and they end up coming across, well, I guess Oki had already come across, the strongest fighter around, from what we've gathered, Tsukasa. Tsukasa, they choose to revive him instead of, at the moment, Yuzuriha, because they need someone to fight the lions. Because Oki, while strong, is not a fighter. He's actually pretty pacifistic. So they revive Tsukasa, inform him of what's going on, and he fights the lions for them. Well, he mostly just kills the leader of the pack, and the rest leave because of it. And yeah, so kind of goes from there. So they bring him into the group, but Senku is clearly suspicious of him, feeling that he might have some ulterior motives or something. He helps them with hunting and fighting and everything. They end up getting a lot of food because of this. But the ending part is where it really comes into play. Oki is getting seashells to create calcium carbonate, and while everything is going on, Tsukasa ends up telling a story to Senku. He talks about who is clearly him when he was a kid, how he was gathering seashells for his sister, who was, in a very bad place, physically and health wise. She liked the Little Mermaid, so he wanted to make a seashell necklace for her. And this guy, I think it was just some random guy, ends up attacking him, claiming he's stealing the seashells. And I guess this is why he has like that scarring or whatever it is across his face currently. But Tsukasa then attacks in the current day, the petrified statue of that guy, like punching his head off and effectively killing him. And at that point, he basically goes into this entire thing with Senku about oh, well, when we start reviving people, let's not revive the adults because adults fucking suck. And they're just going to ruin our lives again. Let's build this utopia of only the uncorrupted youth. And Senku's like, yeah, fuck that. You're creepy. I'm gonna revive everyone who's not already obviously dead. And it shows him and Tsukasa being at odds with each other at the end. The problem with this confrontation is that if Tsukasa ends up attacking them, let's be honest, he could probably in fact, not even could, probably, he would kill both of them with ease. The only question is whether he would do that or not, because apparently his only issue is with the adults and everything. But if they get in his way, would he, take that into account? I don't know. I don't know what he's capable of yet. So he's definitely dangerous. He's definitely a massive threat. And the vibes I got from the opening with him, I think he might end up being a villain. At the very least, an antagonist. So I assume the next person we're going to end up reviving will probably be Yuzuriha at this point. After that, who knows? But yeah, he might not be part of the group for long. Maybe that's how it's going to go. Maybe he's going to end up leaving the group at least because they're at odds. I don't know how that would go down though. I don't know. I don't. Because the thing is, I feel like he would want to stay with them because of Senku being the smart one to be able to create this revival fluid. But would he be willing to? I feel like he wouldn't be willing to leave because this Tsukasa's goal is to bring back the kids and everything, to create an uncorrupted world in his eyes. And definitely in his image, his view of all of that. But if he just leaves, he won't be able to do that. He needs Senku's formula. So he would at the very least have to steal the formula and figure out how to make it himself to be able to to be able to revive people on his own. I'm curious as to where this is going to go. This is pretty interesting so far, though. I'm very much I very much want to see where this goes. There's a lot that's being thought about here regarding the situation and everything. And I want to mention again, I think Senku, by the way, was right in his experimentation with testing out the fluid on human tissue. Doing so on a shattered statue was the right move to make. It sounds harsh. It sounds pretty terrible. But in this situation where you find out a way to possibly revive someone from a 3,700 year petrified state, you have to test that. And testing it on a person who could be of use and could be, revived properly and everything, testing that out on them is irresponsible. Testing it on a petrified person that's like shattered and broken and whose like body wouldn't like just come back together anyway is the right move. Because the body's just it's gonna be a corpse at that point. Like, logically speaking, there would be no way for that to work. Because all this formula does is unpetrify the person. It wouldn't cause the body parts to reassemble. So yeah, it was the right move. It sounds just really gross and terrible, but it was the right move, given the situation. Because he wouldn't have done that with someone like Yuzuriha, who, one, Oki obviously cares greatly for, but also, Senku's just not that kind of person who would experiment on someone in a way that could possibly hurt or kill them. Because while this works on a bird, he doesn't know if it's going to work on these people in the same way. He has to make sure, and he did it in the safest, smartest way possible. So, yeah. I stand by that was the right move to make. I like Senku so far. I mean, he focuses a little too much sometimes on the entire intellectual side of things. But that's, I think, just more how his brain works. Like, he just thinks logically rather than emotionally, while Oki is literally the complete opposite. That's why they work so well off of each other. Oki is allowed to be muscle and heart, while Senku can be the brains. They don't need what each other has because they can be there for each other to provide what the other doesn't. Tsukasa is a great fighter and would be invaluable to the group. He's a great fighter, great hunter, but his morals are skewed, and I feel like he's a danger to the group. Now, obviously, I don't advocate for them, like, trying to kill him or anything like that, or even, like, abandon him and all, because that probably wouldn't lead to good things either. But I don't really know what the best option is at this point. Well, I don't know what the best option would be. Like, I don't know if they could convince him that his ideals are wrong. That's the problem. So, if they could get him to just leave on his own, that would be the best course here. The best situation. But I don't know if he'll do that, because again, he wants to revive people. Specifically the kids. And he very specifically does not want adults revived. And I feel like him leaving wouldn't make sense with that, with either of those goals. Because if he leaves, even if he has the formula, Senku's still going to revive adults, and that's going to go against Tsukasa's wishes. So why would he just leave and let Senku do that? I don't know how this is going to go down, but neither Senku nor Oki can fight him. At the very most, Oki could defend, but that's about it. Like I said, I don't see how this is gonna work, but we'll see. But yeah, this was a really good episode. Introduced some really interesting thoughts, some questions that I might just have to watch the first episode again to get down. And definitely made me wonder about the trajectory of this series. But thank you nonetheless for tuning in. Tell me your thoughts down in the comments below. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.